Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi everyone, welcome to our project podcast. Before we start, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Hunafa Ramadhani as a moderator.
My name is Yuriza as Contra speaker.
My name is Fauzan as pro speaker.
That's it, and
Let's begin.
Good morning everyone, and welcome to the Perspective podcast. Today, we dive into one of Indonesia's most pressing issues is corruption. Specifically, we ask, are Indonesia's law enforcement agencies like the KPK effective enough in tackling corruption? Corruption remains a significant problem in Indonesia, affecting every layer of society from the grassroots to the highest offices. The KPK was established to combat this, but is it truly delivering on its promise? Now we have two excellent speakers today. Speaking for the effectiveness of these agencies, we have Muhammad Fauzan, and arguing against their effectiveness, we have Muhammad Irsyad. Let's set the ground rules. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to make their opening statement, followed by a rebuttal round and then an open discussion. We'll wrap up with closing statements. Let's begin.
Thank you, Moderator. Let me begin by stating that Indonesian law enforcement agencies, particularly the KPK, have played a pivotal role in combating corruption. Since its inception, the KPK has successfully prosecuted hundreds of high-profile cases, from governors to corporate executives. This sends a strong message that no one is above the law. Moreover, the KPK has introduced preventive measures such as mandatory well reporting for public officials and anti-corruption education programs. The initiative reflects their commitment to not just reacting to corruption but also preventing. The KPK operates with relatively high transparency and public trust compared to other institutions. It has brought Indonesia into international recognition for its anti-corruption effort. While there is always room for improvement, diminishing their achievement undermines the progress we've made as a nation.
Thank you for the statement, Fauzan. And now we move to opening statement by Contra speaker, Irsyad.
Thank you, Moderator. While I respect the achievement of the KPK, I must agree that these successes are overshadowed by systemic issues and political interference. The reality is, corruption is still rampant. The KPK, despite its early successes, has faced significant challenges in recent years, including a controversial revision of its mandate in 2019, which many experts believe weakened its independence and effectiveness. Additionally, there have been instances where the KPK failed to act decisively against powerful political figures, raising concerns about selective enforcement. If the institution cannot act independently of political pressure, how can we trust its ability to tackle corruption at the highest levels? Finally, the broader law enforcement ecosystem in Indonesia, police, judiciary, and prosecution, still struggles with corruption itself. The fight against corruption must be holistic, and the KPK cannot do it alone. Until these systemic issues are addressed, we cannot say they are effective enough.
I acknowledge the challenge, but blaming the KPK for systemic corruption is unfair. The institution operates within the framework set by the government and parliament. If this power are reduced, the fault lies in political interference, not the KPK willingness or ability to act. Moreover, despite this obstacle, the KPK continues to secure conviction. For example, they recently prosecuted several high-ranking officials in corruption scandal. The president of the agency, even under political pressure, is testament to its resilience.
Resilience is commendable, but outcomes matter more. Convicting a few high-ranking officials while the overall corruption index remains high shows that their impact is limited. The 2019 revision of the capital law was indeed political, but the institution failed to mobilize public support effectively. This reflects a broader issue of strategy and leadership within the agency. Furthermore, the successes you mention often end with life sentences or reduced punishment on appeal. This cycle undermines public trust and fails to deter corruption in the long run.
Thank you. Now let's open the floor for a more interactive discussion. How would you both address the systemic issues within law enforcement to support the KPK's mission?
Okay, systemic issues requires systemic solution, strengthening the judiciary, police, and prosecutors' drugs reforms and anti-corruption training is essential. But the KPK role remains central as a model of accountability. What we need is greater public and political support to shield the KPK from interference.
While systemic reforms are necessary, the KPK must demonstrate greater independence and transparency to earn public trust. For example, they should focus more on rooting out corruption in law enforcement against themselves. Starting with the police and judiciary, internal reform is critical.
And they have already started. Collaborative efforts with other agents are part of the KPK strategy. However, we must recognize that the agency is often constrained by political force. We should empower them further, not criticize them for challenge beyond the counter.
Empowerment without accountability is dangerous. The KPK must not only be free from interference but also held to high standards of performance. If they fail to prioritize impactful cases or address public concerns, how can they claim effectiveness?
Thank you. Both of you raised valid points. Let's move to closing statements.
The KPK has become a hub in Indonesian fight against corruption. While challenges persist, the agency has made significant strides in prosecuting corrupt officials and raising public awareness. Its existence and achievements should not be diminished, but rather strengthened through reforms and public support. Let us not lose sight of the progress made and the potential for even greater impact.
The KPK's achievement, while notable, falls short of what is needed to tackle systemic corruption in Indonesia. Until the agency addresses its internal shortcomings and regains full independence, its effectiveness will remain limited. Real progress requires broader reforms within law enforcement and political will to empower the fight against corruption holistically.
Okay, thank you to you both of our speakers for their insightful arguments. Corruption remains a complex issue, and it's clear to that tackling it requires not only strong institutions like the KPK, but also systemic reforms and unwavering public and political support. To our listeners, what do you think? Has the KPK been effective enough, or does it need to significant change? Join the conversation on our social media platforms. Thank you for tuning into the Perspective podcast. Until next time, see you.